Hello, it is Kim. Um, it is 5:43 p.m. At least according to this. I think that's right. We ended daylight savings time and I'm a hot mess because of it. Um, Not everything is getting done. Usually it's daylight and I'm like in my car. Mm, mm. Well, I'm in my office. Behind me, you see the blankness. Last week, a large shelf fell, and I was supposed to be in class, but I skipped it, which apparently was good. I've already had up there, have stuff fall on me and gotten a concussion. Joyce Carol Oates has it out against me. I guess I do have a few announcements. The first one is there is going to be class November 19th, 2 p.m. until like 5 p.m. It sort of depends on how many people are going and how things go with in terms of the time. It is also a time that I plan to be writing at the same time. So it is generative. If you have like historical documents or historical folklore, I would like to be able to show like different ways that I can go in. I did purchase several books that have really neat examples, and I'm like, okay, well, I kind of like this, and like I might use this in my work and that sort of stuff. I have about, I'd say, several folklore projects and even more historical projects going on. But I plan to use like real sources, real documents, and so like documents from like the witch trials in Salem, like historical documents, and that sort of thing. Some things you should not make up necessarily, at least not without a lot of backing up. So that's going on 19th, November 19th. Um, $10, and it's just to cover my books. So if there's a problem, can't afford the $10, Christmas is coming, whatever. I don't care. Just tell me. And I will have not even made the link yet, but I will make sure you get the Zoom link and we will write. So that is my spiel with that. My other spiel is that it hasn't been officially announced. It will be within the coming days. But I got the fellowship on like we're gonna see how I do on a trial basis. But a fellowship with Annie Finch's the Poetry Wishes community. And she is probably the best meter or metrical poet, however you want to call it, um, in the world, not even the country. She's touring India right now. And I would be not good at metrical poet, but I am good at, facilitating groups and being talkative and, like, oh, well, don't be so bad and beat up yourself about this, so blah, 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 that sort of stuff. Do that. And at the same time, all the opportunities will arise for me because I was having financial difficulties and it wasn't based on finances or anything. But the parents started talking, "Oh, Kim, do you really have to take this? What is this even, in terms of charges?" And so now I'm not going to have to worry about that. And I'm probably going to get access to more and probably more detailed help. And this is the first time I have to say, within 6 months, I've actually been able to do any meter versus just being confused. And I've had an MFA classes on it. Okay. So to say that you go from the MFA and you're like, you know, just doesn't happen. I passed. I got, barely. I got my degree, but it was not in meter. And there's a lot of judginess about meter. I kind of like to blend, And like, is that true metrical poetry? Maybe not. I'll find out. But I think that it will make me a better poet. I believe that we always have to stretch ourselves. No matter how good we are. And I do consider myself one of the best, if not the best, non-metrical poets in the world. Sometimes you just have to wait for other people to understand this and to go, "Oh, you are doing something different, aren't you?" It happens. You have to wait. So I feel like this, like it'll expand me. Nothing to change here though. In the Terra Nova Lyceum, or if you're just watching this on YouTube, my schedule is probably just going to be more hectic, but I plan on getting everything done still and that sort of thing. So, like you do, you just gotta do. I am taking care of my aging parents. That's probably my third announcement. That is why it's taking me a lot longer to get stuff done, and why I'm. If you see me on ranting about something really weird, and you're like, why are you even upset about that? It's probably not about that. Honestly, on Facebook, in different places, and even in person, it's probably not about that. It is not about the spilled Coca-Cola. Oh my God, that Coca-Cola just had it out against me. It's probably just, I just finished mowing for the second time, and I'm snotty, and I'm like, I'm starting to do more lists. I'm trying to do my own self-care. I'm trying to be like, you know, I'm good enough. I am doing good enough. Maybe that's what we all just have to every so often not say, instead of I have to do more, I'm doing good enough. And the opportunities are coming, means I'm doing good enough. Is it where I want to be by the end of the year? Funnily, no. I wanted like 3 more books written and blah blah blah. But like life is intriguing how things happened. With this, and I don't know how Annie Finch even like I'm taking her classes, of course, and that sort of thing, so she knows who I am. But, like, I fell asleep with my cheek on a paragraph that said, "I wanna be part of a team." And I wasn't even talking about a poetry team. And yet, when I woke up, everything that I listed, she woke me up. Funny. And with that eeriness, I can't go into all the details. I mean, it's not proper, but, it was a blessing, and it was very kind that I was chosen. I submitted my stuff, it had been posted several places that a fellowship was needed. And now I'm learning my duties and responsibilities, and I think it'll fit. So there you have it. Okay. So we're actually, I did two sort of different decks. One is very rainbow, one is very sort of dark celestial that I can't even pronounce. This is one I can't pronounce. So this is a Pride Tarot, a collaborative deck. And, by collaborative, they have different artists come together and they have different meanings. And so I will always read the card that, as it says, neither of these take reversals. So I chose not to take the reversals either because I did not really feel them. And if there's not a hardcore reason to take a reversal, like the deck is like, you must take a papa. All right, if I don't feel it. So, and then this is a Inishua. I still say intuitive. And maybe that is a V that looks like a U. Maybe it is the intuitive Night Goddess Tarot. In which case, I've been saying it wrong each time I use it and I should make fun of myself. I just realized that that was probably a V, and then it's not like French. You're welcome. Every so often, you have a Kim moment. Now, this is a reading. I'm going to do the dates again. November 5th, okay, is when I am filming. This can be from November 5th, the week of, or it can be if you find this like randomly later on, take it as yours. If it resonates, like don't be like, oh no, it can't be me at all. I want you to see this lovely back of the card. Love is love. Okay. I think that's a good message for us right now. We're just getting off of technically we're in the Samhain season. All right, let's face it. The astrological calendar says Samhain is on November 7th. So we're not done yet. Ancestry is still there, all these themes are still there. The earth is dying, still there, and it will be reborn a little bit later on. So yeah. Okay, so it is a cross quarter day, falls on November 7th. I don't think Brian is a member here or watches these videos, but it's his birthday and I'll be in Morgantown. Okay. So this is the Five of Wands, and it's illustrated by Liz Blackbird. Excuse me, Blackbird. We're not going to make her a Blackbeard scary character. All right. A group of protesters, I'll hold it back up. A group of protesters holding a signs are confronted by police wielding batons. Throughout history, individuals whose sexuality or gender expression didn't conform to society's norms have met with hostility and violence. These altercations are tragic, but they can also be sources of progress. Think about this in your life too. Like, yes, I'm giving you this history, but if you can relate it to your own story and what's going on right now, it'll help. These altercations are tragic, but they can be sources of progress. Riots resisting unjust police treatment at the Stonewall Inn in 1969 led activists to organize the march that became the first Pride event. And civil disobedience by ACT UP in the 80s forced the world to take the AIDS crisis seriously. But conflicts can arise within communities too. Queer and trans people of color have protested police presence at Pride, bringing them into conflict with parade organizers. This card indicates discord, conflict, and clashes between opposing forces. Disharmony and lack of unity can be stressful, but they often precede important change. Look within to determine if the fight is worth it. And make sure you're on the right, you know, it says make sure you're on the right side. So that is asking us to look into ourselves, right? And any of that unjustness. All right, let's the very simple, oh, Kim is spilling Coke, and it's clearly her Coke's, it's not the Coke's fault or her hand's fault, or it is the person blah blah blah's fault. Well, maybe we just have to like scale back, and it's prejudice, of course, is huge, but maybe it's just our own sense of where we are in the world, where we're feeling, what hormones are going on, what everything, right? I mean, like mental health is huge. And you don't have to have like a disorder to sometimes have like an attack of I have too much. Okay. But with that, I have too much. Look within yourself and see if it's somebody else's fault. Like whatever is maybe you're projecting. And if you are, say sorry and then just come back and go, hey, I'm projecting. Why? This is like definitely like one of those where we have to look inside ourselves for whatever reason. We're being asked to sort of look at ourselves. It also, I just posted in the in TNL that we should like look and give ourselves credit for it. What we've done, what we're doing. I did that bathroom today, and I cannot like hit everything on my list. So like large projects are what I consider large that other people wouldn't around the house. I'm just doing little bits at a time. And like I'll take one set of clothes from one place and put it to the next. And then the ones from there, in another 15 minutes that are supposed to be swapped out, take them, you know? So like we have to find our workarounds. We also have to know our own selves and how to get stuff done that we absolutely have to, and how to have compassion for ourselves. If we don't have compassion for ourselves, I know that if I don't I feel like I will lash out. Doesn't matter hormones. It doesn't matter bipolar. It doesn't matter any of the, like a lot of times I'm dehydrated because of my medication. And it doesn't matter. I will lash out, even if everything's perfect, if I am not okay with myself. Okay. So I really think that this is what this is asking for, just honest reflection. Am I right? And maybe you are absolutely and vindicated. You are correct and you're shoot. Okay, go for it. I don't care if you agree with me or not. If you feel that this is truly like your mission, you're on your I am not going to stop you. Okay, but reflect. All right, the next one we got were the lovers. All right, and this is by Robin Scott. My Lover's Card incorporates scenes from the NYC Queer Liberation March on June 30th, 2019, photographed by for the Reclaim Pride Coalition. The phrase "An army of lovers cannot lose" was used in the headline of a leaflet distributed at the June 1990 NYC Pride March. The phrase dates back much further, occurring in Plato's Symposium. If there were only some way of contriving that, oh, this is quotes, I should say. If there were only some way of contriving that a state or an army should be made up of lovers and their lovers, they would be the very best governors of their own city, abstaining from all dishonor and emulating one another's in honor when fighting at each other's side. Although a mere handful, they would overcome the world. It also appears in Rita Mae Brown's 1974 poem, Sappho's Reply. Tremble to the cadence of my legacy. An army of lovers shall not fail. And this does not have to be romantic. It can just be an army of lovers. I call myself a lover of words, right? I'm a lover of much other things. I don't technically have a partner. I have a companion right now. But like, like lovers, you don't have to just be lovers to be loved or to love. And I think this idea goes beyond, like holding hands and being partners or married or whatever, right? I think it goes and it's using your heart, your empathy, and listening. I really do think that listening, and so far that's two cards where I'll say listening is a big thing. One is listening to yourself and identifying yourself, and one is using your listening and what you've heard and going out. And you can find others that are like-minded and go out. All right. We're living in troubled times. I don't know even what to call them, right? There's a movement for everyone, and we can't take them all on. But together, if we each take one on, we might stand a chance. That's sort of like where I'm at, right? Like one on one, we can do one on billions of different problems. It's really hard. But if we each take little sections, stand up, and go for what we're most passionate about, I think that's the way to do it. The next is the Three of Pentacles, illustrated by Joanna Powell Corbett. And one says, free grandma hugs. Yay, gay son. Yay, son, proud mom. I love my trans. Okay. So you can see that. And I have to admit, I started like really tearing up when I saw this card because I was like, oh, I'm tearing up now. Ooh. The Three of Pentacles is about collaboration, teamwork. Again, the message. Okay. And coming together with others to create something that benefits the greater community. An elderly woman offers free grandma hugs at a pride parade to any young person who has been rejected by their own family because of their sexual orientation. Other friends and family members also carry signs of love and support. The entire parade is a community collaboration that proclaims to the world that LGBTQ plus youth are loved, celebrated, and supported just as they are. I chose to interpret the Three of Pentacles in this way after being moved to tears at our local Pride Parade, watching so many young people being embraced by surrogate mothers, fathers, and grandparents. Responsibility to community. All right. This is the Ace of Swords, illustrated by Edmund Zabrowski. Sorry. All right. Creative and crafting arts, forging and weaving into beings or mysteries at the very fiber of the LGBTQ plus spirit. In the Ace of Swords, we look beyond the qualities of skin color or gender and focus instead on a grander visions. Crowning the Ace of Swords, Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man, reminds us of the rich LGBTQ plus history that has taught us to look at the way the world works through new eyes. In our current age, we are redefining our culture's gender norms. Below the sword runs all right, a machine, a hyphen, capital M machine, the mathematical construct created by gay computer scientist Alan Turing, aided by the theory of computation, propelling technology into our futures. The pageant crown of drag culture is a symbol of self-authority in a multitude of ways that one wishes to express it. We are finding liberty to break new ground and challenge existing social structures. The way we champion for the rights of the LGBT plus community brings us all together to create something new. Now, as I go through these, yes, obviously there is definitely like it's the story of pride, right? But you can also hear perhaps your own stories and like what's going on in your own life and have it resonate. There is nothing wrong to say that I feel blah, blah, blah because of this card and take it as your own, no matter what um status you have. And you don't have to claim to be anything on the LGBTQ plus spectrum. You don't have to be anything. I know at the bar we used to call it the alphabet. I'm sure that's not in vogue anymore, but at the bar at the time, that's what it was. So I still find myself, in my youthful section when I go flashback to my drag queen friends refilling my Diet Coke because it was the most expensive drink there was, and I was there 4 days a week with my roommates, and they'd be like, "Hey, honey, you need a refill? You need an umbrella." And so get an umbrella. Um, they were my good friends, and they protected me a lot, and I tried to help them as well. I still keep in touch every so often. Yeah. All right. This is the devil. All right. Illustrated by Irene Lorenzi. The devil stands out in the universe while a man and a woman cling to his horns. The man and the woman are bound to each other and also the devil with red ropes that also cover their eyes, from which they can no longer see. Choosing to remain in the darkness is a kind of ignorance. The devil can lead to luck and ruin and indicates strong attraction and intense sexuality that can lead to salvation as well as destruction. In us lies a dark, abject side, fearful of the mysterious power of temptation. It is up to us to decide whether to free ourselves from the evil that stagnates in us or to let ourselves be overwhelmed by it. We have two paths to take, one of good, the other of evil. It is up to us to decide which way to go. And this, of course, is a card of absolutes. And I think there are so many shades of good and evil and shadow and light. And so maybe it's not quite this stark for the ending of this portion. So that's why I drew more after this was our final card that I drew of this deck. And I was just like, we're ending here. Why? And I have to say, I think it's because of the blindness that we're not seeing everything. Okay. It doesn't necessarily have to be that sex or sexuality or any of that nature is bad. There's something that we might not be seeing. And that might be true of our entire situation and why we have to come together instead of just being ourselves and, be by ourselves and in the struggle, whatever that struggle is. I mean, like, it doesn't have to be the struggle of any certain group of people. It doesn't have to be the struggle of any certain war. It could just be human struggle. It could be our struggle. How do you get food on the table? How do you get a kid to brush their teeth? How do there's a million little struggles that make up larger struggles, that make up larger struggles, that make up social world life. So, I mean, like it all winds up being like puzzle pieces or perhaps like stratigraphy if you want to go into the archaeology method. It all has to do with each other. All right. So I'll clear that. I'm going to bring this up just real quick again. The intuitive Night Goddess Tarot. I sure does say that. It really doesn't, though. It really doesn't. I think last time I might have showed you. There's palms. It's both palms, I should say. Yeah. All right. Now again, we did not have inverted. We had mostly cups, so mostly emotions. And these were basically to hit on those the pride tarot ones to sort of balance out a little bit, see what's going on. See if we get any more clarity. I'm not sure we got more clarity, like in like the capital C clarity sort of thing, but we did get sort of like more like why emotion. So the Two of Cups, and again, they're not taking inversions, so I did not. The goddess stands before a full moon with two cups hanging from a rod, suspended across her shoulders. She is on a journey and trusts that the moon will guide her as it speaks to her primal reflective self. How can you best work with your energy? What well are you pulling from? Where are you releasing your creative waters? Two ocelots sit at either side of her feet, connoting. Connoting? All right. I don't think that's quite how you spell the word, but it's like the connotation, connoting union and harmony. both in oneself and with others. This card communicates the importance of balance and compromise to maintain the full cup. Often seen as a card of friendship specifically, you may consider self kinship with self. I'll clarify that in just a second with my own reading. And it says it continues on, so there must be another page, just a little bit. Your kinship with self. What kindness and support you would offer others can you offer yourself? Keywords harmony, balance, friendship, self love, union. Now, in many, many decks, Two of Cups is considered not just love, but like divine love. And I don't mean like divine love, like divine partnership, like soulmate connection, if you believe in soulmates or like that sort of bond. You don't have to call them soulmates, like that feeling where you're like, I know you from some when, right? That's sort of like this is like the if you ask a question about true love, this is like the confirmation card usually. It's usually the twin flame, that sort of thing. Confirmation card. So I did want to point that out. Just you never know. All right. Seven of Cups. A young woman sits amidst the barren. I have to put down the barren landscape, looking up at the sky and gesturing towards seven cups for her. All are full of objects, representing choices of opportunities available. Each offers something unique. It is her imagination manifested, options the universe is delivering. Now is a time when the choice is yours. Which path would you like to pursue? Weigh the pros and cons of the current situation and see what pathways align most with you. Each cup presents a benefit and a potential consequence. Take time to think about what you want in life. Keywords, choice, opportunity, manifestation, vision, alignment. Okay, so like all those cards that we had before didn't necessarily have questions associated with it in the Pride deck. Now we're being given like another layer, and these are our questions. And we were told to question, right? Pretty much. And now these are the questions. And I thought that that was incredibly intriguing because I randomly picked out of these from the trunk of doom. I'm not even going to show it. It's a pirate trunk, okay? But it's big. It's embarrassing how many cards I have. All right, this is the Seven of Pentacles, and this is our final card. Our goddess stands in an abundant field surrounded by coins. She's harvesting them from an environment she sowed, and her efforts have paid off. Be ready to reap the rewards of time invested. Be patient. Abundance is coming your way soon. Growth, hard work, and self reliance have brought you here. Not everything we plant will blossom. The worthiest energies will. Be grateful for the bounty and not to focus on the loss it took you to get where you are. So, those consequences, don't worry about them. Worry about what actually manifested. Be sure to trim and edit as you go so all the strongest bits continue to flourish. So it's just like in a garden, right? Once a flower blooms, sometimes depending on you have to cut the buds off, or I guess they're called that. Yeah, you can tell I just started doing lawn work. Keywords: evaluation, bounty, harvest, investment, long term. So this is your end card. Let it resonate with you a bit. All your efforts have paid off. Well, we might be consider ourselves still struggling, right? Well, have they paid off? Well, maybe they have paid off. And that doesn't mean that we're suffering. That means that we are waiting. It's coming. You know, this is a timeless reading. It's not for everybody. It's a group reading. So maybe just give it a hot minute. Wait a little bit. Keep going. Keep cutting off those buds. I don't know. I have like this like really like when I do my simmer pans, I like cut the rose buds off, right? Or some of them are buds, and then some of them are, the full, blossoms, right? I'm cutting them off, and you're left with these stems. And I admit and I sent a photo of myself, and I was like, "Hey, Brian, who am I? Who am I?" Do you if any of you remember the 90s, oh my god, the 90s, right? Um, it was, Morticia Addams she cut off all the blooms on the roses, and then she would have the vase decorated with she didn't care about those flowers, right? She cared about, the thorns. So I always laugh at that when I do that, and I'm totally her in that moment, even though I'm gonna use everything else. But for this second, it mattered with that at the ending. Well, maybe we are left with those stalks, but is that a bad thing, right? That's up to you. All right. Well, have a beautiful, beautiful week. Wherever this finds you, I hope you are happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. We'll just go with the whole cliche and the whole shabam. All right. Take care. So it is.